Welcome back to the Healthy Hustlers podcast. How are you?
Babe, it's so good. It feels like home.
I know.
It's good to be home. It's good to be back in your energy. I've missed you.
I know. It's so funny, isn't it? How I know we were just chatting before we hit record, but how different time can feel at different times. But obviously we chat a lot on the phone, very, energetically connected, but not always physically. But it's funny how that time can feel different for you versus I. And I'm like, yeah, I find that a very interesting concept, even though someone listening is probably like, what the hell?
They're already talking about time being a figment of our imagination already, yes.
But I'm very excited to have you back on the pod and be with you today.
Thanks,
a
babe.
big part of this year for me, which I've spoken about on the podcast, was attending yours and beautiful Tasha's retreat in Byron Bay. So let's start there, because since last time you were on the when was the last time you were on the podcast? Was that when we did our series?
Babe, I feel like.
Oh my goodness, we're literally talking like years ago.
And that was honestly right at the peak of my divorce. My whole life was changing.
wow.
I wasn't even doing like energetics back then. Yeah.
It's so much has obviously shifted that we need to talk about. But let's start with the retreat, because a big part, I think, of this year transformation for me has obviously been in your energy and coming to the retreat. So talk to us a little bit about your retreat experience so far, not even just hosting it, but just like what got you to that point of hosting retreats.
Beautiful question. Yeah, I think, look, I've always been a people person, right? Like I was a PT, a women's PT for like 10 years, and then I had my own events company. So I always loved like women and bringing women together. But then as like I evolved as a person and I really had to do my own journey with healing, like after postnatal, I had pretty severe postnatal depression. Obviously, like a whole heap of things had gone on in my life that I think I'd just suppressed for a really long time. And there's nothing like becoming a new mum and COVID to really illuminate all of the work that you probably should be doing on your mental health and emotional health.
Yeah.
So I remember just looking up, I'm like, I need to get away. Like it was the first time I'd actually really asked for help, like someone to look after my daughter and, my husband to step up at the time. And that was really hard for women. I feel like that's quite hard for women to actually prioritize themselves. And I just booked myself into a local retreat. It was just 2 days. It was like nothing crazy. It was just in Ghana here on the Gold Coast hinterland. And it was honestly, when you take yourself away from, the hats that you wear, the job, the people, the to-do, it is crazy what that can do for a person, especially someone who's going through it and spends a lot of time in their head.
Yes.
I was able to really just find stillness and find more peace. And it was only 2 days, but like 2 days of not doing dishes, 2 days of not making the food, 2 days of not one person needing anything of me, like waking up and booking myself in for a massage, or doing Tai Chi, or I remember I had like the most amazing sleeps too, because there was like not really much reception, or like I didn't have Wi-Fi. And I'm like, I guess I'm going to read. It was the first time I'd read a book in like such a long time. It was like what was it? Untamed.
Oh my
Glennon
goodness.
Doyle.
One of my favorite books.
That was the first book that I'd ever read cover to cover my life. And I've finished it at Gwingana.
Oh, and just like how much shifts from that book of and I feel like that, because it was this pre-divorce separation.
Yeah, no, this is only just post-baby.
Yes, yeah. Because I remember that, like, obviously when we connected, it feels so weird even talking about that, because it feels like there's been lifetimes between that last series we did. But in the series we did together, you hadn't even told me that you were like moving through a separation until I think we saw each other the next time. And in that process for you has become such a big unbecoming. Like we always talk about the becoming and moving into the future self, but a lot of it for you, and please quote me if I'm like putting words in your mouth, but I feel like I've seen this real unbecoming of all of these different beliefs, stories, expectations that you used to place on yourself or think were important.
Yeah.
And from a mindset perspective, even conversations we've had about the way you're like, you could look at someone online now versus what a past version of you used to. How did that process, like what was the really kind of catalyst at the start of like, wow, I'm going to start shifting a lot of these beliefs and stories?
I think probably one of the biggest things was like actually seeing myself, actually becoming very aware of my inner dialogue, becoming very aware of how I operate as like the heightened, dysregulated version of myself, when I can then see a very different, the clear contrast between the version of myself that was like on retreat. Yes. When I was like calm, I could actually feel myself again. So once I got a taste of what that felt like, it was a real eye-opener because, one, I was trying harder every day to make my days feel like how they felt on retreat. Yeah. And it made me realize, wow, there's a lot of fucking work to do. Like if I want my life to be that peaceful, like I'm going to have to change a lot. And yeah, like you said, it's years and years of becoming what you think you have to become and being who you think that you have to be in order to be palatable or, attractive or successul. But in actual fact, I'd realized that I really didn't know myself at all. I had no idea who I was. And I honestly I had no idea who Davina was, what she liked, what she didn't like. Yeah, it was a very confusing time. But I guess the small things that I did was just trying to it's like one step at a time. So it was just little things like processing an emotion or processing a trigger when it comes up.
And how would you do that? Was that through a certain modality?
Yeah, I mean, at the beginning, honestly, the first thing that I really lent on was journaling.
Yeah.
That was a big one.
You had a big journey with that, didn't you?
Yeah.
Like books and books.
And I still journal every single day. Journaling is my ritual. And, I was able to process so much just from journaling. But I never prior to that had given myself space to process or unpack my thoughts or even express them in a way that wasn't me screaming them at someone trying to be heard, So journaling changed my absolute life. I was able to see very clearly what was and wasn't working, what I liked and what I didn't like. I was able to start seeing interesting patterns. I was able to start seeing when I was lit up around people and which people brought me down. And once you see those things, you can't unsee them.
You can't unsee them, can you? It's and so how did that, I like to call that the shedding process of the identity upgrade, because it's you are letting go or distancing yourself from certain people or environments. How did that play out in your life? Did you have did you just have to get comfortable with letting people go? Or was that a bit of a work in progress as well as a bit of a people pleaser?
Yeah, I think I just had to, the biggest thing was learning to love myself. Yeah. And then choosing myself over others.
And what does that look like for you?
Honestly, it's coming back to I think, good question, Mads. I think there was a big part of me that reconnected with the inner child in me. And I started looking, especially having a daughter, I started really reevaluating my life and my choices. And because I was I wouldn't want her to be in a marriage like this or feel like this within a marriage. There was, I'm going to be honest, there was nothing really wrong with my marriage. I could have had a great marriage for the next 15 years, 50 years. 15. But then I also just knew that I didn't feel the way I wanted to feel within that marriage. And that necessarily that actually didn't have anything to do with anyone else but myself. Yes. It was all me. It's me against me in this life. And I realized that I needed to love myself more than any of these other things that brought me temporary comfort, because it's there was always something in me that felt like I was destined for bigger and bolder and more pleasure and more love. But I also never felt worthy of those things. So I think I settled a lot and kept myself very small. Yeah, I can't remember the question.
I feel the worthiness piece is a really important one, because I feel that can play out. I don't want to assume everyone goes through it, but I do think it's a big thing that most women go through in some facet of their life, because we are told that we need to look certain ways, act certain ways, be certain ways and we're told that from a young age. So there becomes this unworthiness that for some people it might be quite extreme. For others it's I've been raised in a very loving, very nurturing environment, yet there's still like worthiness pieces that come up. So
Yeah.
what do you think the awareness was for you that there was, you know, a piece of not feeling worthy enough? Like, was there a moment where you were like, wow, I'm not really letting myself receive this?
Yeah. Well, I think I had to get my implants taken out as well.
Yes.
So while I was going through like all of this, like new mum vibes, COVID, unhappiness, like wedding approaching, knowing that maybe that's
wedding as well.
yeah, like all of the things, babe. And then figuring out that I had breast implant illness, and having my breast removed, which was like such a they were such a safety blanket for me too, because it was like, you know, I'm hot, I have tits,
Sexy,
like
yeah.
I can hide behind my boobs. So I had never really let anyone fully see me. You know, I got my boobs for my 18th birthday. That's all I wanted. I thought I would be whole and complete and perfect with massive bolt-ons, which I was
actually-
for a little
Yes.
time. But you know, that wasn't the void that wasn't filling the void. There was a big
Always a thing.
Yes, it was just, you know, again, another external thing outside of myself instead of looking inward and, you know, asking myself those deeper questions. So with them coming out, absolutely no, you know, coincidence that was all happening at the same time. It was, I got thrown into the depths of radical self-love because it's like, well, babe, you got to kind of start loving yourself now. Otherwise, this is going to fucking suck for a really long time. Like, you may as well start doing the work now. Yeah, because it's going to be really hard. And I honestly think it's taken me right up until probably like even this year to just be fully comfortable in my skin, because now I'm so certain of what I actually do offer. Like, I know my value now. Like, I know what rooms I deserve to be in. I know what people deserve to be in my life. I know when to say no. I know when to protect my energy. Like, my inner peace is like, honestly, the only thing that matters. Like, even with my daughter, I have such high boundaries with her, because I'm like, if I'm not operating from a place where I can be my best at, then I'm not going to be a good mum for you. Like, if I'm coming at you like stressed and anxious and like overwhelmed and all these things, which I'm sure happens, of course, but like, I'm very conscious when I'm like not showing up as my best self.
Which I just admire so much about you, like your ability to actually be that embodiment, you know, to like fully prioritize your joy, your pleasure, your self-love is like second to none. Like, I've never seen anything like it. And I think it's like, it's really phenomenal to like witness as a friend, and for you to be that person that almost like walks the path first. And then you're like showing us that it's actually safe to do that and to love yourself and honor yourself in that way. But I know that's been a huge journey for you to get to that.
Yeah, exactly. So I think what will tie in nicely, I guess, is like, look, I was doing all the things, you know, journaling, all that kind of stuff. I had separated from my marriage. I had gone celibate for, you know, nearly 3 years. But after 1 year, it's very easy to like heal, in quotation marks, while you're isolating yourself from other people, right? And I got to a point, I was like, you know what? I feel good. I feel like I have been able to process, you know, the things that have happened in the last decade. And I feel like I'm at a place now where I can probably start opening myself up and allowing myself to be seen more. And then I just was very nervous about the thought of actually being seen and being loved. And like, the worthiness thing was still a very big thing, because I'm like, how will I ever find, you know, a partner again? I'm like used goods. I don't have boobs. Like, I'm a mom.
All the stories
all the things. So what felt intuitively, I just felt into this, and I was like, I'm going to start working like somatically with the body, going to start working with the yoni, and just see where that takes me, because I mean, it doesn't get much more self-love than literally like learning to love
pleasure.
yourself.
Yeah.
Because you don't learn that, right?
No.
In school, you barely even learn the proper anatomy of like, you know, your reproductive organs as a woman. So yeah, I kind of went down the route of yoni wands and sex magic, and just learning how to create more safety within myself and with my body, and more connection to my body. because I had always been very much in my head all the time.
I recently shared on my Instagram stories about my current skin journey. I hit my mid-30s and I'm not lying when I say my skin went wild. I had the craziest hormonal breakouts along my chin and around my mouth. I had not had pimples like this since I was a teenager, but I had heard of an amazing Australian product. So I went straight online and I ordered myself some. And I'm so happy to say that after 30 days, my skin has completely transformed. The glow is back and I'm feeling more confident than ever in my own skin. The product is Fem21 and it is an Australian-made naturopathic formula created by a clinical naturopath, beautiful Mia Robertson, who has been a guest on the podcast before. Mia designed this product to support women's hormonal balance, digestion, liver detoxification, adrenal function, and overall vitality. And let me tell you, this product works. Every single morning I wake up, I put 1 scoop into a glass and then fill it with filtered water. It has 21 natural ingredients, including herbs, fiber, probiotics, and superfoods. And Fem21 works holistically to address the root causes of hormonal imbalance rather than just the symptoms. It has been phenomenal to see the transformation of my own skin in just 30 days. It is such a beautiful ritual to start my day with because I know I'm cleansing my body, my liver, and balancing my hormones all in one. Plus, it makes me feel amazing to start the day that way. If you'd like to check out Fem21 and their incredible range of Australian-made products, then please head to fem21.com.au and grab their products today. I've also included a link in the show notes below for your convenience. Here's to happy glowing skin forever.
So it was about, slowly creating more and more safety for myself. So I then would be able to feel safer and make safer choices and more embodied choices through life. But that in itself was such an interesting journey, like learning to love myself again, understanding what I like, but it also gave me so much confidence.
Yes.
And
it's almost like building blocks in a way, isn't it? It's like you build that and then it gets to a point where it's like, well, you can only build so much alone. And
exactly.
like heal so much alone.
Yeah.
Till you have to let other people in as well.
I feel like, look, energetically and spiritually, it was like I was working my way through all the chakras, right? I was being able to voice my boundaries. I was able to clear my head. I was able to open up through my intuition, but there was definitely a big sacral block for me is that feminine essence, that, that real divine power, divine rage, that just being able to stand in your authentic feminine expression was still something that I was struggling to do. So, working with the yoni, with, somatically with the body, with embodiment. I think the first time I'd ever used a yoni wand was hands down, hand to my heart, the first time I'd ever truly been embodied ever in my life.
Really?
Ever. It was like, the slowness and the inward journey that it took me on and how much love and care and compassion I had to have for myself and hold for myself. I think that was probably the first time in my entire life that I really had connected with myself. And then from there, it changed my world.
Yes.
I'm now studying to be a somatic sexologist and currently going through the somatic sex coaching. It's so big. I've really realized how important it is to have and cultivate a relationship with yourself before you can do that with anyone else, before you can relate to anyone else in your 3D, before you can, having that foundation of self-love, self-respect, integrity is, the rest is just the building blocks, a successful business, a successful relationship, successful friendships, and for me, it honestly it's changed everything. And I love and trust and honor myself so much more. And the way I protect my peace now, I'm still shooketh. I'm like, fuck, did I really just do that boundary so hard? But that's how hard I love myself now.
Yes. And I love that because I think that's the real magic and uniqueness of you and guess the blueprint that you've built that you now can service other women with is it's we're often taught manifestation or do these tools or it's rituals, it's these the things that we have to inject in instead of just that coming from that place of literally loving yourself first.
Yeah. And I mean, loving yourself isn't easy. Like that's where, you know, the energetics work comes into it. Like I think it's so easy to think about loving yourself, but until you can truly embody that self-love and like feel the ache and the pain of the things that you have gone through, it's not all love and light. That's the thing. Like embodiment and working with the body and working somatically in the body isn't pretty, babe. Like it is sometimes rocking and crying and like primal release of, you know, years of suppressed anger, grief, heartache, all of the things, shame, all those things. So, but being able to fully express that and allow that to move through the body, because it is, you know, the body keeps score. We keep a hold onto these things, and we need to work somatically with the body, whether it's through breath or movement or touch or sound. You know, allowing yourself to feel it is so important. And yeah, I think I'd just done all the work I thought I needed to do, and then it was time to really feel it. And then working with the yoni and having the connection with the mind and the body, that was like the big part.
Turning point.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes we think we have done the work or we're doing the work. It's like we're doing the things that, you know, we might have been told to do or believe is the right path. But there's always more to kind of be unlocked, isn't it? And it's like...
And you can have a very niche thing that works for you as well. Like,
definitely.
It's some people can really find, you know, this euphoric meditative state of like release and surrender and all the things through like singing. And, you know, like there's so many different things that you could do. Everyone's so different.
Yes, definitely.
So it's worth definitely trialing like a few different ways.
So I know you talk a lot about manifestation, and it's become such a big part of your life, but we all kind of have different takes, perspectives, way we go about it. What does it actually mean to you, and how do you harness it?
Manifestation in a nutshell to me just is like alignment. I think your manifestations or your desires manifesting in your reality just comes from the inner alignment that you have within yourself. You know, it's hard because I have such blind faith now in that everything is going to work out for me, because I know that I will work for me. You know, I will work out for myself. And if I'm in a funk or if I'm doing, you know, if there's something wrong with me, I'll look after it, because I dedicate my life to making sure that I'm doing good.
Yes.
Because then I know that my 3D is going to reflect that back to me. I know that opportunities will come to me. So I think manifestation is just a result of you being in alignment with your mental, physical, emotional state. You know, having integrity and doing things with authenticity and being authentic, being true to your core, not second guessing yourself and not betraying yourself, not doing things that actually don't feel good for you. Because honestly, like the amount of times that I say to my clients, I'm like, don't worry about that. You need to worry about you, and then taking aligned action from an authentic place, from a place of alignment. The rest will follow. Like it always does. And there absolutely is, like, you have to have action, of course. But, you know, we were just with our friend Hillary, and one of her podcast episodes I swear and live by. It's the make it not make logical sense. And I will fucking tell everyone about this episode, because it's true. Like, we can't put two and two together and make it equal this. Like, there is so much that we are not privy to behind the scenes. We are vibrational beings in a vibrational world. And it's like, we think we have control. Beautiful. Like, love that for us. But also there is so much that we don't see until we get it, and then we can connect the dots backwards and go, oh my God, if this didn't happen exactly like this, then that's what happens when you're in alignment.
Yes.
It gets to be easy. Doesn't mean you don't have to do some kind of work, but it gets to be easy, and it gets to be better than you could have ever imagined.
But it's almost like, because I loved that episode too, and then I loved the chat you two did where you referenced that episode. Yeah. And I think sometimes it's like that, you know, when someone articulates something so well, it's like this unlocking in yourself of like, like, I knew that, but I also didn't know that. It's like a
Yes.
knowing.
I
It's
knew
like
that, but I needed to hear
I
that.
needed to hear the way
Yeah.
you articulated that for that wisdom to unlock in that way inside of
Yes.
me.
Yeah.
And I think that's the beauty of obviously podcasts and people like yourself and Hillary who are able to facilitate that consistently for people.
And that's the thing, like one of the biggest things that I get when people come in and have a healing and I, tell them what's popping up and what I found, and they always say, you know what, I know this. Like, I
Yes.
know this. It's the remembering,
Yes.
right? It's like you know it, but you've remembered what needs to be done and how you need to do it. It's we know we have all the answers within us. We always do.
And a lot of the time it's like if you think back to school and the way that we've been brought up, it's constantly getting external validation from teachers, from caregivers, from parents. Like we are taught to ask for and get external validation and thought, and to be told we're doing the right thing and we're learning, in the right way and we're good at this sport. And so it's no wonder that we grow up constantly desiring that external validation. And Georgie and I were actually having this conversation on a walk yesterday around just that external, like believing that we need coaches in business to tell us how to structure certain things and yes, I'm all for mentorship and investing in yourself.
Yeah.
But when you actually hold something like that inner knowing in yourself, like there's no need to seek that validation from someone else. And it's like trusting, when you can trust yourself so much and build from that place of intuition, everything will flow so much more naturally than being told that something should be a certain way, even when it feels not right for you.
Yeah. And I feel like, if you are someone that is in a position to like hire a coach, like you're an entrepreneur or you have a startup or whatever, I feel like there's also something so special about you learning it your way and you being able to have your own voice on your journey. Like that's what makes it so special because you can take the blueprint from a coach or whatever or learn all the mindset things, but there's also so much like juice in the journey.
Yes.
Yeah.
And in the action, like actually doing the thing will often move the needle and give you the lessons well before than just getting bogged down in the strategy of it all.
Yes.
So, I feel like that's been a really interesting journey, over the last 2 years is that kind of like external. So it's no surprise that your clients say, I already knew that because that's exactly the conversation we were having yesterday is like, you already know the things but it's like we feel like we can't always trust ourselves fully without someone reflecting back, yes, that's the right move. Yes, that's the right decision for you. Yes, that's the path. So then reflecting on Hillary saying that it doesn't have to make logical sense, it's like that concept in itself is like I took from that conversation is that when we actually learn to trust the inner knowing, even if it doesn't make logical sense, like me quitting my job 6 months before my wedding with absolutely no Instagram following to start a podcast made no logical sense whatsoever. Who would do that? Like, why would you do that? If you looked at that on a piece of paper, I had a well-paying job, a job title that I worked really, really hard for, so much security. Yeah. But it's like if you take that logical path, of course I would probably still be in my job building someone else's dream. So when you're looking at that, let it make logical sense. It's like, one, I didn't search for that external validation in that moment and I just trusted that inner knowing. But then the moments that I've been searching for the external validation, there's been a lot of the detours in the incorrect ways maybe. Yeah. How do you really trust your own intuition and inner guidance now?
Well, I've just had so much proof now, like especially with working with women, like having them on the table and having like the craziest knowings of things that I would never be able to like know. And also things that are like pretty hectic too, like, specific childhood traumas or specific areas of trauma. And then being like, okay, I'm just going to write this down and pray that I'm on the money. And every single time on the money. So I've had enough proof now, but it all started from just like the first thing that popped into my mind, just being like, yes, okay.
So what were the little tests with it where you started to just flex that muscle a bit more?
I think, honestly, even just, I feel like I get rewarded as well. So it's like, you know, you'll make a decision and then instantly you'll get rewarded from it. And I think the more time that goes on, the easier it is to trust it. But even like the other day, like I put in Google Maps where I was going to go and it was trying to take me another way. That was like so long. And I'm like, nah, I really feel like it's this way. And then it just kept telling me to turn around. And I'm like, I know your Google Maps, but I truly feel that this is the way I've got to go. And it's like 50 minutes through the city that it was telling me to go. But I'm like, no, it's right there. So I'm like, maybe there's a crash. Maybe there's this. I was trying to like gaslight myself into thinking that I was wrong. No, kept going. And then all of a sudden it just rerouted and it's like 15 minutes till getting there. And that was just a beautiful confirmation. It's like, you know, you do know most of the time. And even if you're wrong, it's a beautiful lesson in itself. But it's just taking the courage to actually just believe your first inkling or follow your gut, listen to the body. That's why embodiment is so important. There's constantly so much feedback that we're receiving from our senses and from the body, but we're either too numb or too distracted to hear and get divine guidance.
Yes.
So yeah, it's just, I guess, tapping into the body, really slowing down and just trust, like self-trust. And you know what? If you're wrong, beautiful. What a lesson.
Yes.
We only get to live once. Fuck it. Like, what's a life without lessons?
It's so true. And I love that you use that as the example because I feel like that's a really easy to digest kind of like way to look at intuition of just like, you know, in that car perspective of just trusting that inner knowing. And it's like the more that you can almost strengthen that muscle, the more that you are excited to use it as well. I think that's a really big thing.
Yeah. It gives you more confidence, you know?
Yeah, it does. I even always say to people from like motherhood perspective as well of like, we're so, and I think that's random that we're talking about motherhood now because I don't really talk about that very often. But I mean, you know, even things with like books and stuff of like how to settle your child and like sleep training. It's like we're really conditioned to block our own intuition as women and our own instincts. And it's like, if you think about a mother grows a child, births a child, can naturally feed a child from their body. Yet then a book is telling you, do not respond to your baby's cue to teach them to self-settle. It's like that is the biggest blocking of a female like intuition and knowing possible. And it's like, so from these early stages of such a huge identity transformation as becoming a mother, we're then being taught, I'm not saying everyone does that, but like we're actually being taught to block something that is so innately ingrained in us to respond to and to nurture. And so it doesn't surprise me that so many people don't know how to respond or get confused of how to respond and listen to their intuition.
Yeah.
And we're taught to ignore it from young children.
Yeah.
Like really young children. And I'm like, wow, no wonder why we don't listen because it's like, no, this is what you should be doing. This is how you should be showing up. You're too loud. You're too, you know.
You're too much.
You're too much. And it's like when you start to do this inner work, you find yourself just coming back to that. I'm sure you've had, like, you're probably so much little Davina right now. Like the way she...
Totally.
Like so much of that is what you're reconnecting with.
Yeah, totally. Like I was naked in a creek like a couple of days ago and I was like, oh my God, Davina like 3 years ago would never just be like nudie swimming in this creek right now. And I didn't give a fuck. There was like a couple of people that walked past me too and I was like, hi. Like, but I just felt so like you feel so just grounded and innocent and pure, I feel, when you don't have, because the only reason you feel less than or all the other things is because you're constantly telling yourself that, like, I should be ashamed of this. I look slutty right now, or this is too much, like I'm being too big. And then
it's what you're judging yourself on versus
exactly.
Definitely.
And when it's quiet, you just get to be like, oh, the sun feels nice on my skin.
Yes, for sure.
The creek is really nice. Like there's none of that other chatter. It's just present embodiment, enjoying in the moment. And it's,
And because 3 or 4 year old Davina would never have had the chatter that you have now. She would have been swimming in the creek nude, not even
Why
thinking
would I judge
about
myself?
anyone. Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's like I find that these identity shifts, and obviously you've been through such a huge transformation with your identities, like it is often a coming home to that younger version.
Totally.
And I like think so much back to that of like, oh, how do we harness her a little bit more?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Has the inner child work, I know we touched on it really briefly, but has that been a really pivotal part of like, do you revisit young Davina?
Honestly, there's like always three versions of myself. There's like the young version of myself. There's like me currently who's like going along. And then there's like higher version of myself. So I'm forever switching between the three in my decisions, in my reactions. I'm like, how would the higher version of myself react to this? Like, no, she wouldn't respond. She would just like walk away. Or like, if I do this, how will this make younger me feel? Like, how would this make my inner child feel? Like, am I abandoning myself right now? So but that's the thing. That's the work. When people say the work, it's not like always glamorous retreats. It's not like hypnotherapy. It's not like all this. It's the day-to-day mindset shifts with every action, with every reaction, with every thought, with every movement. That is the work, the consciousness, you know.
The constant awareness of, am I making a decision that is
where
in
is this
alignment?
coming from?
Yeah, where is this coming from? Where is this trigger? Where is this reaction?
And then hashtag manifestation can come your way. If you're thinking like that constantly, you wait. Your desires will be so much closer than you ever thought.
And I think sometimes we do overcomplicate it. And it's like a big thing I've been reflecting on too is like how much of the identity journey can be more around like doing the things in terms of like listening to the podcast, reading the book, doing certain therapies, but without the actual implementation. And I think that was a big shift for me. And like something I've definitely, I guess, witnessed in your journey is there's so much implementation around the work as well. Because it's like we can get caught in that trap of like, you know, listening to the, or again, it's sometimes seeking that external, and I've had to catch myself out on it. Stop thinking you need more things to help you fix, and actually more just implementation. Yeah. So that then the reality, your physical reality, can catch up with the internal.
Yeah.
Which has, been a big part, I think, or a big unlocking this year for me in particular. For anyone, I know we're getting short for time, but anyone who is listening, like, where would you say you would firstly guide someone on the journey? Because I know it can sometimes feel that little bit overwhelming if you're listening and you're like, I want a version of Davina, or that, you know, the way she feels, I want that, I want stronger boundaries. But it's like, sometimes it's just like, where do I start with that implementation?
Literally.
Yeah.
Honestly, I would say a retreat. Like, go take yourself away, go connect with like-minded people, go talk about your life, and go see that you're not alone, because everyone else is, you know, dealing with the same kind of stuff. Yeah. Just see what it feels like when you're regulated. Look at, you know, have that point of reference of like, okay, this is what I actually feel like. And then you can start, you know, just slowly but surely, day by day, start implementing little things into your life. Start following different accounts on Instagram that give you more information. You know, there's so many beautiful books out there. Go listen to some beautiful podcasts. Just change your days. Intentional change every single day. Do one thing that old you wouldn't have done. So whether it's reaching out to a new person, listening to a new podcast, booking yourself on for a retreat that you've been looking at, you know, just those little things. You never know. It's like, and even at retreat, yes, the workshops and all the things are amazing, but sometimes it's like the conversations around the pool, the friendships that you make, you know, the conversations around the dinner table, they can change lives.
They really can. And I think that was a big takeaway for me of like also thinking you're doing something for one reason and realizing you're there for a like completely different thing. That was a big one for me of like, and I really underestimated the moment of just like not having to get someone food and actually being fed, like not making a decision.
Someone saying dinner's ready.
That was like,
I love that
was
sound.
Honestly like life changing to like have 3 days where I like did not have to think about what was being eaten or consumed in my home.
Yeah. And like, how much space does that give you to like have new things drop into the mind?
And I think that's where like you do connect with intuition, your natural magnetism is in the stillness.
Yeah.
The big thing that came out of a retreat was when Heidi, who hosted the tea ceremony, said that the magic is in presence. And I was like, I know that, but I've really forgotten that. And it's like sometimes we just forget to honour the things that we also already know. Yeah. And like the magic actually is in that stillness. And that's something that you do so beautifully, is bringing that stillness back to your life and your world regularly. Yeah.
And you know, the stillness can come too when you're processing effectively, you know, when you're allowing yourself 10 minutes to journal, when you're allowing yourself to feel something that has been going on and just sit with yourself and feel it. So then you are able to have that presence. You are able to be more present and more embodied in the moment because you're doing these little steps through the day, making different decisions, choosing to breathe for 5 minutes after shallow breathing for the whole day and being in fight or flight, you know? Yeah. Presence comes, and even just choosing presence while you're journaling, being in the moment and feeling what comes up.
Yes.
So powerful.
Yeah. I know we need to wrap up, but the podcast, you've shifted gears.
Yes.
Loving it.
Yeah.
You're just glowing.
Formerly Who Me, and now it's the Upgrade Edit, which is so much more on brand.
So on brand.
Because she knows who she is now. So yeah, having a little bit of a break now, but we'll be ramping back up next year. You'll be coming on, of course.
Oh, mate, I'm very excited.
Yeah.
I know that was like, this can be a whole nother episode. Maybe we'll do that next time. No, I was going to say like letting go of those, like not that it's small, but like I remember you and I chatting about that and you're like, babe, I feel disconnected to Who Me.
And I didn't even like recording.
Yes. And it's like that's an identity thing too. It's like when you're like constantly making, and I love your analogy on the 3 different like who you're constantly thinking of: younger you, present you, future you. And it's like your ability to continue to make decisions from that future you, even though it feels so uncomfortable, is I think what has just made your journey so transformational and like fast in a lot of ways. Like to think that, you know, what was it, 3 years ago that we sat in a chair and like we were so lost and like, how are we going to make money? How, like, you know, we were so disconnected from self. Yeah. And now like to see the space that you hold for women, for yourself, like the opportunities that just like literally land consistently is through you constantly choosing to be the future you. Yeah. So when you said you wanted to let go of like Who Me, it wasn't like I know it was hard for you in that moment, but it was also such an empowered choice to let go of that identity that you'd built and just own the next. Yeah. And I think that's what moves you so quickly through your timelines.
And not even thinking about like the consequences. So like Who Me, I got, you know, that was all free. That was all done for me. And, you know, the Upgrade Edit, I'm hiring spaces and editors and all the things. Like it's a big commitment. But I'm like, no, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to do it my way. And by doing it's like the best thing I could have done. Yeah. So, you know, if I was to look at it purely at like a monetary thing, it's like on paper, it doesn't make sense. Why would I like go and make my own when I could have a production done for me? Yes. You know, and just, but it's like, no, I know, you know, when it doesn't feel right.
Totally. And look at the content you're creating now versus like the feeling in your body going into the old studio.
It's all mine. Yeah.
Well, it's been really inspiring for me to watch, and I think it's given me a lot of permission.
Oh, you give me permission all the time. No, right back at you though. Mirror, mirror.
Yes, mirror.
Mirror,
I feel
mirror,
like we
baby.
are beautiful mirrors for each other. But it does. I think that that's a really important thing when we talk about the work or doing the work is like it is then constantly attracting those people who can keep pulling you higher, expanding with you. But I've just loved seeing that evolution too, and you just owning that space so much. Aww. So go and listen to the Upgrade Edit. You've got your beautiful space in Brisbane as well for in-person sessions.
Yeah, and we do online as well.
Yes.
Retreats.
Oh my goodness.
Come to the Amazon next year with me.
Yes, and you have to do one of Dav's online. I should have shared that at the start. Online sessions. That was the most magic experience. I feel like I've done a lot of like healing different modalities, and I jumped into your online recording. When was that? I reckon it was before retreat.
Yeah.
And I had the most magnetic experience with Dav literally doing a silent like healing, and this gold just like gold energy just flowing out of my body. Like, you are so wildly gifted. It is so incredible to witness. So please join her online sessions, because I love the space that you hold there as well. And I feel like, and of course the retreat. I've already spoken about the retreat so many times in my previous episodes.
I should start giving you, I need to give you, I don't know, some compensation or something.
No,
yeah.
this is what friendship is. It's like so magic that you can just hold that space and bring that to women. And it's like, I'm just obsessed with that experience that I had.
Right back at you, babe.
Such a gift.
Thank you for everything you do and constantly do for me as a friend as well. You're such a big expander for me, and you give me so much permission to be my authentic self, and I really value you so much.
Love you so much.
Love you.